The Minnesota Wild are now out of the playoffs.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another...
Oh no. Sorry to let you air out of the balloon, Wild fans. But as I said, your team's out of the playoffs.
That joke took 35 seconds of prep time, and the execution was fantastic. Welcome you all to another edition of the No Playoffs Party for the Minnesota Wild. We're going to have a few of these coming up at your face holes in the next day or so.
Yes.
Today we're talking Wild. I've got Chris, I've got Dan, I've got human ADD known as Cam.
The personification of ADD.
Yeah, like if you look up ADHD in the library, it's got this smiling face.
It's a personification of doing your best.
Or doing something. Anyway, the Wild got bounced from the playoffs to by the Winnipeg Jets this weekend, and we're going to talk about it. Dan, what's on the agenda today?
The first question I have to ask the boys is, what went wrong from Minnesota? What do we think? What do we think went wrong? Go ahead, Chris.
Their opponent was much better than them. That's
Wow.
like nothing went wrong. They did as expected and lost to Winnipeg.
Yeah, I mean that is some in-depth journalism right there. I think the Spurgeon and Suter injuries probably hurt them quite a bit.
But, Daniel, one might argue that the Winnipeg Jets were also without many of their starting defenders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with their defenders.
Yeah, but they're in the bush. Fucking roasted.
But they had people step up better than what happened in Minnesota. Tyler Myers was their top scoring defenseman, at least up until he got greased.
As you guys know, I'm not watching the playoffs because of a bet with Wanye, but looking at the stats, I see Devin Dubnyk allowed 14 goals in 5 games, and that is bad.
That's yeah.
Chances are you're not going to win a lot of hockey games like that, Chris.
No.
Was he the Devin Dubnyk of old? The one that... Do you remember that... what was that commercial where he wore a helmet, but it was his goalie helmet instead of a construction helmet? He was that guy again.
And he was operating a
He was
stick,
that guy.
like he was pulling on it, and the guy would come up and be like, "Hey," and he'd be like, "I don't know what I'm doing. I can act as well as I can stop the pucks in Edmonton."
Injuries were a problem. Goaltending was a problem. Dan has a problem. What
Their
is it?
opponent was a problem.
What?
I don't know.
Okay. What do we think of the Winnipeg Whiteout boys?
Very cool.
It'd make more sense if the away team did not wear white.
Also,
I agree
yes.
with that. I agree with that. However, Game Time Art, the editor of Jets Nation, took some stills or had some stills that he was showing of people, like shots of the arena where all you could see was white except for the Jets players that were celebrating. And I thought that was really cool because it kind of glosses over the Minnesota Wild, which it's counterintuitive when you think about that they started the whiteout because home team wore white, but.
Shout out to the Thrashers for finally getting their first ever franchise win.
Very
in the
cool.
playoffs.
Happy for
Yeah,
them.
that's
Chris, you're a big Thrashers fan, yes?
Huge Thrashers fan. Always have been. Always will be.
Fat Dad says his hard hat is not a party hat. That is malarkey. And it's just
What?
a little...
Oh, Dubnyk. Wait.
what.
I don't know what
Says
he's talking
what?
about.
Fat Dad's chipping in.
Okay. Thanks, Fat Dad.
Fat Dad, come over the top with some commentary. I love it.
What else going on? So whiteout, it's a thing they do.
Balloon.
Everybody wears a t-shirt. Congratulations.
Yeah, it is cool.
Maybe everybody goes skins next year, Dan.
Yeah, shirts off for the peg.
Tarps off for the peg.
Tarps
Fill your
off.
potholes with your shirt. That's the way that city works. Cool.
Hon-
Still working on that balloon.
This
hey, buddy?
balloon's totally defective. It's like the Minnesota Wild.
Your genetics are defective.
Huh.
Go on.
Honestly,
Boom, boom. If anybody saw our last video where Kuhn was throwing balloons around and spilled his entire coffee, that's what our genetics comment is referring to.
the Jets and Wild series was just one that I wasn't. We've had this argument lately about whether there should be 16 teams in the playoffs or not.
Kuhn, when you said how many
Oh my
teams?
god, there should be 12 teams like in the NFL. Top 4 teams in the league get a bye. So like, what would you have really lost? I guess one of them you can make an argument for, but what would you have really lost in this year's playoffs if you didn't have New Jersey, Columbus, Philadelphia, and LA?
And Minnesota.
What's that? No, Minnesota wasn't one of those bottom teams.
They should have.
Minnesota was actually pretty good in the season. They finished with 101 points, same as Anaheim, only 4 less than Toronto. Like,
I give them more credit, or I don't give them enough credit then.
but my problem is that with this 16-team format, more than half the teams in the league are making the playoffs, and a handful of those teams are bad. It's just like you don't need to have teams like You don't need to have New Jersey in the playoffs. It's stupid.
Fat Dad chimes in again, says, Coom, what you would have lost is revenue.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
that's a fair
Yeah, but
point.
then you have a more worthwhile and relevant regular season.
You're right, but
This is a watered down.
I'd love to hear numbers about how much money the NHL would lose if they cut back the teams.
It's not even. I don't even think it's that. It's just that, like, you look at a team like Edmonton in 2006, and I only bring that up because we know that team. But that team was the 14th best team in the league that year.
They were 16th. They were 8th in the West, and they were the worst playoff.
Were they? Yeah. So I mean, you look at that and you see there's a team that turned it on in the playoffs
Yeah.
and became completely relevant. So
It's-
LA also won a
rare
cup
that-
after
yeah.
sneaking in the 8th seed.
Yeah. But
So
it's rare. I mean,
Nashville was an 8th seed last year too.
yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Nashville's coming up against the Peg, Coom.
This is going to be an extremely difficult series because the bus ride between Winnipeg and Nashville is very long, and as we all know, Winnipeg doesn't have an airport, so teams aren't able to fly in and out of the city. So that's going to put an interesting spin on the series as players have to sit on the bus for probably about 20 hours.
You have to fly into Ontario and bus in.
You're gonna fly into Thunder Bay and take the train, and that's like an 8-hour trip. And there's a lot of mosquitoes up there. It's cold. It's not nice. So that's an interesting thing to think about.
Dan, thoughts? You're shaking your head at Coom.
No. I think it's going to probably be the best playoff series of the entire playoffs is Winnipeg and Nashville. I think there's two teams there that, like, Nashville kind of struggled with the Avalanche. Their defense only scored a goal in the last game when the Avalanche had clearly given up on life.
When they put Andrew Hammond in net, and it was like,
yeah,
what kind of hell are we living in?
which we'll save that for the Avalanche goodbye or welcome to the no playoff party video. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to see that video there.
So let's wrap up this no playoff party with something, a nice word about the Minnesota Wild, Chris. Let's bid them adieu into the off season with something kind, something nice, something friendly. Chris, what is one nice thing you have to say about the Minnesota Wild?
I'm not gonna lie, I've been trying to look up something on their website since we started the video. They're actually, you know what? Oikos, I think that's a yogurt company. Oikos? Like Greek yogurt?
Yeah.
They are giving a trip to the 2018 Stanley Cup final game on the Minnesota Wild website right now. So go to the Wild website.
Shout out to Oikos.
Yeah.
That is not a Minnesota fact, though.
Yeah, but Minnesota's internet team put it on their website, so good on them.
It could also be geo-targeted ad towards you and your love of Oikos Greek yogurt. Anyway,
But it
Dan,
came from the Minnesota website.
Dan, say something nice about the Minnesota Wild, please.
That's 2 for 2, Chris. My compliment to the Minnesota Wild would be that their offense was better than it has been in the past. The Jacques Lemaire of old Minnesota Wild are dead, and they're more exciting now.
Wait, Jacques Lemaire's dead?
No, just their style of play. But I think they were more entertaining than they had been in the past when they used to beat the Oilers.
At Coom,
When they used to beat the others.
what
Well,
say you that is nice?
One thing I'll say about the Minnesota Wild is that their logo is extremely clever. It's not just a landscape portrait of a forest. It's a creature. It's got a mouth and it's like a face. This is something you'd see in the wild.
It's a
That's
bear,
what
I believe,
It's
Coom.
some kind of donkey, some kind of four-legged animal.
Could
that
be
you
a
would see in
donkey.
the wild. I think that's extremely clever and good on the Wild for having a very solid red-green Mountain Dew style logo. Very good.
Do the do, so says Coom. And what I will say is that Mall of America, hell of a mall. Hell of a mall you got there.
It's nothing to do with the Wild.
Well, I mean, kind of. They're
No
in
shirts the
Minnesota.
Wild.
They're in Minnesota, Dan. What do you say about that?
I mean, so are the Minnesota Vikings, and Coom likes them.
Hell of a mall, Vikings.
West Edmonton Mall better. West Edmonton Mall better.